Nne the Warrior. In the quiet village of Obuago, there was no woman quite like Nne. She was tall, huge, and had the kind of strength that made men think twice before crossing her path. While others whispered about her size and ferocity, her husband Ilo cherished her for the warrior she truly was. Their union was a curious one. Ilo, a slender and quiet man, had found the perfect balance in Nne's untamed spirit. One fateful afternoon, Ilo and Nne ventured deep into the bush for hunting. As they stalked their prey, a rumble in the bushes sent a chill through the air. A massive leopard, fierce and hungry, emerged from the shadows, its eyes set on them. Before Ilo could even raise his spear, Nne was already in action. Her muscles tensed, her eyes locked onto the beast. With one swift move, she tackled the leopard, wrestling it to the ground. Her strength was unmatched, her battle with the beast almost surreal. In moments, Nne drove her dagger into the leopard's heart, and the beast lay still. Ilo stood in awe, breathless. "Go, tell the villagers about this," she said, just like the other day she slayed a lion. She carried the beast on her shoulders. When the villagers saw her, they started chanting, "Ubuanyarago, Ubuanyarago, Ubuanyarago," which means she killed a leopard and carried it on her shoulders. Nne actually had the strength of 3 men put together. In Obuago, Nne was known not only for leopard slaying, but also for her fierce protection of her family. Men feared her, and for good reason. If anyone dared interfere with her family's affair or threatened to take over their land, she would beat them to a pulp. There had been many occasions when her strength had come to the rescue of Ilo. One such time, when greedy villagers tried to take Ilo's land, it was Nne who stood between them, fists clenched, daring anyone to challenge her. None did. Nne bore 2 sons, Ugonna, a strong and capable boy, and Obidike, the second son, who was slow in speech and development. Obidike was a gentle child, one who stayed close to his mother's side and suckled at her breasts even until the age of 7. His delay was worrisome, but not to Nne. She saw in him a quiet strength, one that will reveal itself in time. However, not everyone saw it that way. Ilo's brother, Ibe, whispered dark thoughts into Ilo's ear. "This boy, Obidike," Ibe said one evening, "he is weak, slow. He is bringing shame upon your household. You should sell him off to the traders. He is of no use to you." Ilo, turned and uncertain, listened in silence, but little did he know that Ugonna was listening as well. The boy sprinted to his mother, breathless, telling her everything he had overheard. Nne's face darkened. Without a word, she stormed into her room, grabbed her gun, and marched outside. The night was silent, the air tense. Nne raised her weapon and fired a shot into the sky. The loud bang echoing through the village. Ibe, hearing the shot, knew exactly what it meant. He ran for his life, stumbling over his feet as he fled. Never again did he speak ill of Obidike, nor did he question Nne's authority. But Nne's strength was not limited to defending her family. One day, the neighboring village laid claim to Obuago's community land, sparking a brutal conflict. The village elders summoned the warriors to fight, and though women rarely took part in such battles, Nne would not be left behind. Strapping her rifle across her back, she marched into the war alongside the men of Obuago. Her presence was a force to be reckoned with, her strength guiding them through the chaos of battle. She struck fear into the hearts of the enemies, her rifle a symbol of death for anyone who dared oppose her. By the time the battle ended, Obuago had triumphed and came out victorious. It was said that Nne's strength had turned the tide, that her fearlessness had won them the land. When the village returned in victory, the king himself summoned her. No woman had ever been called before him to receive such an honor. The elders gathered, murmuring in surprise as Nne stepped forward, her broad shoulders casting a shadow over the crowd. The king stood, his voice booming over the village. Nne the Warrior of Obuago, the slayer of leopards and protector of our people. Today you will receive a title no man has ever been granted. From this day forth, you shall be known as Obuanyarago. The village erupted in cheers. Though there were whispers of unease, some men felt their pride wounded, seeing a woman rise above them. But Nne stood tall, unmoved by their insecurities. She earned her place. As the years passed, her legendary grew. Her sons, Ugonna and Obidike, both found their own paths under the shadow of their mother's strength. Though Obidike was slower than others, Nne's belief in him never wavered. And in time, he too would prove that strength wasn't always in the body, but in the spirit. And so, Nne the Warrior became the symbol of Obuago, a reminder that true strength knows no bounds, not of gender, not of tradition. It lies in those who are unafraid to protect what they love, no matter the costs. Obidike grew older. The village of Obuago watched in amazement. The boy who had once been slow to speak, who had stayed by his mother's side, suddenly began to blossom. His growth came like a storm, quick, powerful, and unexpected. By the age of 15, he had sprouted into a tall and muscular young man, much like his mother. His shoulders broadened, his voice deepened, and his once gentle eyes took on a fierce glint. The villagers who had once whispered about his slow development now whispered about something else entirely. How did Obidike become so strong so fast? There were rumors. Some said Nne had gone to the spirits in the forest and asked them to give her son strength. Others claimed that the gods themselves had taken pity on Obidike and blessed him, knowing his mother's fierce love and protection. But no one knew the truth except for Nne. She had seen it from the beginning, the quiet strength in her son, waiting to emerge. All it needed was time. Obidike trained relentlessly under his mother's guidance, and tutelage. Every morning, before the sun rose, they would go into the bush, where Nne taught him the ways of the warriors. She showed him how to track animals, how to set traps, how to fight with his bare hands, and how to use weapons. Nne's lessons were harsh, but Obidike never complained. He pushed through every bruise, every muscle ache, knowing that his mother had seen something in him that even he hadn't yet fully understood. By the time Obidike reached manhood, there were no more whispers of weakness. His strength and skill in battle had become known across the village. He, like his mother, could defeat any man who challenged him. He moved with a grace that belied his size, and his strikes were as precise as they were powerful. During village wrestling matches, no one dared to face him, and when he hunted, he brought down game twice his size with ease, just like his mother. One day, during a village festival, the elders gathered to celebrate the harvest. There was music, dancing, and feasting. As was tradition, a wrestling match was held. The strongest men of Obuago were invited to compete. Men from neighboring villages came as well, hoping to win glory. Among them was a warrior named Udoka, known across the land for his immense strength. Udoka towered over the other men, his reputation enough to make even seasoned warriors tremble. When it was announced that Udoka would challenge the best of Obuago, the crowd grew silent. Many feared that no one in the village could defeat him. But then, from the shadows, Obidike stepped forward. His tall frame, broad shoulders, and quiet confidence silenced the whispers. The people of Obuago stared in disbelief. Could the boy who was once slow now stand against the greatest warrior they had ever seen? The match began. Udoka charged at Obidike with the fury of a bull, but Obidike was ready. With a swift sidestep, he dodged Udoka's massive blow and grabbed him by the waist, using his opponent's momentum against him. In a matter of seconds, Obidike had Udoka on the ground, pinned beneath him. The crowd erupted in cheers, shocked at the ease with which Obidike had defeated the famous warrior. As the people celebrated, Ilo and Nne watched from the edge of the crowd. Their faces were masks of pride. Nne had always known this day would come. The boy had become the strongest warrior in all of Obuago. Obidike stood tall, his eyes scanning the crowd until they found his mother's. He nodded to her, a silent acknowledgement of all she had done for him. But the villagers' amazement at Obidike's strength didn't stop there. As the season passed, words of his prowess spread beyond Obuago. Other villages began to hear of the young warrior, the son of the great Nne, and soon they came to challenge him. Each time Obidike stood his ground, his mother's lesson guiding his every move. He defeated warrior after warrior, never faltering, never backing down. One day, during a council meeting, the elders discussed a threat from a neighboring kingdom. The kingdom of Nachi had long coveted Obuago's fertile land, and they had grown bold. Their warriors were preparing for an invasion, seeking to take what they believed was rightfully theirs. The elders were fearful. Nachi was a large and powerful kingdom, and their army was vast. It was then that Obidike stood before the council. "I will lead our warriors," he said, his voice calm but filled with resolve and confidence. "I will protect our land as my mother had done before me." The elders exchanged glances, unsure of whether to place such responsibility on the young man's shoulders, but Nne, who was present at the meeting, stood up. "Let him go," she said, her voice ringing with authority. "Obidike is ready. He is my son, and he carries my strength." The elders, trusting in Nne's judgment, agreed, and so Obidike was named the leader of Obuago's warriors. With his mother by his side, they prepared for the battle. When the day of the invasion came, the warriors of Obuago stood on their land, ready to defend it with their lives. Obidike led the charge, his massive frame cutting through the enemy's ranks like a storm. Nne, still fierce and strong despite her age, fought alongside her son, her rifle in her hand. Together they were an unstoppable force, mother and son fighting as one. By the time the battle ended, the kingdom of Nachi had been defeated, their warriors retreating in shame. Obuago's land was safe, and its people once again had Obidike and Nne to thank for their victory. From that day forward, Obidike's name became legendary, just as his mother's had before him. The people of Obuago no longer whispered about the boy who was slow to develop. Now, they spoke of Obidike, the warrior whose strength was unmatched, the son of Nne, the leopard slayer, the protector of the land.